Welcome back. And for our first big story, we turn our focus on the ongoing End Bad Governance protest that has gripped the nation. Now, what began on August 1st as a rallying cry against the pervasive economic hardship has now entered its 10th day today, marked by widespread demonstrations across the country, clashes too, and also, unfortunately, tragic loss of lives. The movement has seen a significant escalation with reports of looting and also vandalism, especially in the north in some states there, foreign flags being waved in others, and a harsh response from security agencies. Organisers have not only called for the sack of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, but they have also declared 3 days of mourning for those who were killed during the protest. Yesterday saw a procession that started from Ojota and headed to Alausa, however, was stopped halfway.
Right, yes indeed. And as we reflect on the past 10 days, we ask the critical question, what has been achieved so far? Has the movement made strides towards its goals? Or are we witnessing a stalemate between the government and the people? And so to help us unpack these developments, and we have with us a panel of esteemed guests, which we're going to get into. But first, joining us live in the studio to give a more in-depth analysis, we have with us Mr. Gboyega Akosile. He's a special advisor to the governor on media and publicity to the Lagos State governor, and he's going to join us to offer the government's perspective on these protests and the steps being taken to address the concerns raised. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir. Welcome. Good to have you.
Good morning, Basil. Good morning, Judith.
Good morning. Welcome, sir.
First, please.
I'm just we're supposed to be joined by other guests, and they will join during the course of the program. But let me start by asking about the Lagos State government. They have been at the center of the protests recently when it comes to Southwest, right? The Southwest. And we've seen as well, in all prominent other protests, we've seen Lagos be so much of a center of it, right? With all of the media attraction and conversations on social media. So can you share with us the steps that the government had taken to address the concerns raised by the hashtag #EndBadGovernance when it comes to Lagos State Lagos State government, specifically when it comes to measures that are being implemented, to meet their demands?
Thank you very much, Judith. First and foremost, it's to say that the protest wasn't really about Lagos State government. The protest was a national one. It was directed and targeted at the federal government policies, which Nigerians felt are affecting their livelihood and their living conditions. And of course, the federal government too, they haven't denied the fact that there is hardship in the land, and they've been communicating that the Nigerians should just give them some more time to fix the issues that they met on ground. And of course, as time goes on, that we'll now begin to enjoy the dividend of their policies. A lot of analysts have come on air. You've interviewed several people who have given suggestions and, of course, why we have found ourselves in this situation. But I also know that, the federal government, in their wisdom, they also know they have the holistic view of what is going on, and they know what they meet on ground, which you and I may not be privy to all the details, because it is different when you're outside. But when you are on the inside, you see things, and you probably with your team, the president now with his team would, sit down and look at the best ways to fix the economy. And of course, if the policies are not really good for the people have a right to say, hey, Mr. President, your policies, the direction, they're, affecting us. And, there's high inflation, there is, upward movement in prices of goods and commodities. And please, can you just look at these policies again and, take a review and make sure that, things, go down. So the federal government, is communicating with the people. But of course, Nigerians said no, that we have to go on the street, we have to protest, and it is a constitutionally guaranteed right.
Okay.
And some organizers of the in bad governance or hunger protest, as the case may be, give 10-day nationwide strike, which they started about 10 days ago. So they have coordinators in all the states of the federation. So to bring it down to Lagos State, when we learned about the proposed strike, the proposed protest, our principal, the governor of Lagos State, a very proactive man, he doesn't wait, for things to happen. So immediately, swung into action to see how best we can mitigate the effect of the protest if it ever happened. As at that time, that was about 5 weeks ago. That how best can we see to limit collateral damage, and in fact we don't even want any. Can we work against any at all, from the point of engagement with different people across different segments, the student bodies, the civil society organization, the media, the religious bodies, the traditional rulers, the community leaders, everybody. He met with and engaged with everybody, and spoke with them one-on-one to say that, look, we have learned a very bitter lesson from the 2020 protest that almost brought Lagos State to total ruins. We don't want, we have even yet to recover from that, so we cannot afford any further damage on the state. So that really helped a lot. And of course, he engaged the security operatives. He had 2 or 3 security meetings, so whereby they discussed all of this. But I think more importantly, what really worked for us in Lagos is that Lagosians are very sophisticated people. They are not really swayed by emotions or sentiments. They can see, they can feel. And because they are already feeling good governance of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, they see what he has been doing. So majority of Lagosians didn't feel any need to protest against it.
I'd like to say something about the humility with which you speak about the proactivity of the state governor, which is very nice. However, what would you say to the argument that with this proactive measures that he tried to put in place to mitigate effects of a protest, that he might have suffocated the protest itself, relegating it to certain places where it might be hard to reach if you're a protester or an interested protester? What would you say regarding that?
Okay, so if I'm engaging with you, I'm not using the barrels of the gun. I'm not carrying guns to say don't do this. If you do it, this is what I'm going to do to you. It is talk. So I'm not suppressing. I'm engaging. I'm appealing to your conscience. I'm appealing to your thinking ability. And you, in your own wisdom too, will go back to say, I think I agree with this guy. You understand? So in that way, it is not suppressed. So if anybody says that, we tried to suppress, that person is just being
So that's
mischievous.
Lagos State.
Yeah, I'm talking about Lagos State.
In the grand
now.
scheme of things, Nigeria now, noting that there were 21 deaths that were recorded, how would you score the handling of the government regarding security agencies on the protests?
Okay, so maybe I'm not very qualified to speak on the general, in general terms, across the country. But because I may not have the real information as to what led to what in some other, states, but I'm only relying on what you, Massimo, will tell me as a journalist, what Judith will read in a news bulletin. I'm only relying on that. But if I'm relying on what you people have told us that happened from all your reporters, because I saw that you did a lot of live feeds, during that period. I think that it's a two-way thing. The security operatives, they try their best, in my view, but then they still need to do a lot more in terms of engaging the people when you have protests of this nature, right? However, when protests get to a bigger crowd, you have all sorts of people in there. There are about 3 categories of people in protest. The hungry people who are genuinely hungry and are angry. A hungry man is an angry man. Genuinely hungry. That, look, what is this? I couldn't eat this morning. I'm even tired. This is it. Because he's hungry.
Speaking of genuinely hungry and the common man, the president in his speech,
yes.
The president in his speech said that the governors, that he had given out somewhat of a grant to the state governors regarding palliatives to their constituency. Do you want to speak on that for Lagos State and the money that was received and how it's been disbursed so far?
Thank you very much. Now, it is no brainer. Everybody sees it. I think, one of your reporters, I've forgotten her name, Wura or something, she's covered, the governor's activities on how well we've done, palliatives. In fact, we didn't have to wait for federal government.
So, but did the state government receive anything from the federal government?
Oh yes, state government, just it's been publicized. Every state government. Well, I don't know about other states. We received, and we spent more than what we received.
How much was received?
Well, I do not have the exact figure of what we've spent so far, but
how much was now spent? Because you said there was more that was
yes,
added.
I know that during this period. Let's take, for example, the markets. The Sunday market subsidy that we did, the subsidized market, 25% that we allowed people to go to the market, just get your ticket, pay via POS, and you get 55% reduction on whatever commodities, whatever items, that which a lot of people have applauded. And the governor said in his speech, the day before the protest, started, that is reintroducing it. They're just working on the logistics. Now, take for example that one. That one was costing the state government over 4 billion, naira every month.
Every month.
Yes.
So in a year, it's over. We say what, trillion?
It's a lot of money. It's very expensive. But the governor, Mr. Sanwo-Olu, believes that, look, this is a time when governments should come to the aid of the people, of the residents. And I see there are videos everywhere. Common man, praying for the governor, praising him that, look, this is the kind of thing that it should continue. Although it's dipping a hole in the purse of the government, because there are so many other things to do with money. But then, you have to make sure that people are alive first and foremost, before you can begin to think of, you want to fix rail, you want to fix roads and all that. People need to be alive first and foremost. And that's why. And take also as an example, we have a minimum wage now at 70,000 naira. Do you know that we were paying since, I think, January this year, we've been paying over 70,000 naira before the minimum wage of 70,000 at the least paid person in Lagos State, had been earning more than, the 70,000 naira. So now, effectively, by the time we now work out the current minimum wage, you can imagine what, the least person in Lagos
Mr.
will
Akosile,
be earning.
thank you very much. We have a
Exactly.
dais of people who are waiting to also speak on this topic. But I want to say thank you very
Thank you
much
so much
for
for coming in.
taking time to come on live here with us today. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank God I didn't get bashing from Judith.
Oh, if we had more
If I had enough time, I would have.
if you want to stick around, it's okay.
Thank you very much, Mazin.
Thank you very much.
You're not telling me.